I hope you will agree, this is not very fair. You are all watching me and seeing me, and I can't see you. And in order to be able to address you properly, I need to know where you are and how many you are. To fix this, I need some kind of a sound check. Would you please all stand up? Yes, all right, all right. Having been a physical therapist for many years, I know that sitting down for more than 1 hour is very bad for your lower back. So I'm doing you a favor. Come on, get up. Let's imagine 2 groups into this audience, one to my left, one to my right. In a few moments, I will ask for some applause, so I can hear where you are and how many you are. Please look at my hand to adapt the level of your applause. We'll start to the left. There we go. That was fine, thank you. Now to the right, please. Yeah, that was okay. All together if you will. Yes. That was superb. You may all sit down again, thank you. Now I can go home and tell my children I've got the standing ovation before I even started. Yeah, and you can go home and tell your folks that mass hypnosis does work, and you were fooled into it by a blind guy from Belgium. That was fun, wasn't it? Well, if it worked, we'll have some more of that later on. Can I have the first slide, please? When I ask an audience, what do they see? They say a black ball. When I ask for a closer look, they get poetic. They say a black hole, or the eclipse of the sun. Some even say the Japanese flag. Then I know there are some colorblind people in the audience. Another possible answer could have been to see a wet screen with a black spot on it, isn't it? Those are all different kinds of perceptions of the same thing. There's nothing new there, another place, another time. In ancient Greece, a man called Plato already explained this. What we are about to do here is possibly going to change your perception of problems and difficulties in life. Can I have the second slide, please? Yes, indeed, bold change. Those who are over 50 might recognize the cover of a record by Neil Diamond. The music was written for a movie, you remember? It's a movie about a seagull called Jonathan Livingstone. It was a metaphorical movie about a seagull who didn't want to stay one for the rest of his life, fighting for food forever. He wanted to fly like a hawk. And Neil Diamond had several metaphorical songs. On another time, another place, on a hot August night, he was at the Greek Theatre in Los Angeles. The Greek Theatre is the place that God made for performers. When they die, they come to a place called the Greek Theatre. It's performers' paradise. One of his songs there was, I am, I said I am. And the song went, did you ever read a story about a frog who dreamed of being a king and then became one? Well, except for the name and a few other changes, if you talk about me, the story is the same one. Those are Neil's words, not mine. I'm not Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles or Andrea Bocelli. I'm not here to sing, lucky for you. I'm just here to tell a story. I'm just an aging frog. Because you know, we all start off in life as a frog. We leap out of the belly of our mother and start jumping around. And we all end up the same in the end. When it gets total dark, we are feeding worms. Or to put it more poetically, we are fertilizing daffodils. I'm here to tell you a small story about the poetry of a young frog. Let's call him Johnny. At the age of 11, he made a very bad jump. At school, on the schoolyard, he fell over a school bag and broke his leg. He was sent to the hospital to fix his leg, and the doctor did so. And the doctor asked, but how come you didn't see that obstacle? Johnny said, because it was too dark, doctor. So he was sent to the ophthalmologist. And the ophthalmologist looked at his eyes and said, aha, you have retinitis pigmentosa. This sounded like poetry to Johnny. But later on, he discovered this was rather a nasty disease that would make him blind with age. There's no cure, said the doctor, and Johnny and his mum were sent to the social worker. Get him out of that school, said the social worker. And please, please, send him to a school for blind frogs, so he can be taught some skills that might be useful for the rest of his froggy life. At home was Granny. Granny was called Mary. She had red cheeks and always had an umbrella with her. Another time, another place, she could have been Mary Poppins. She was an old and wise lady, and she listened very carefully, and then she told a story. She told a story about the Greek goddess, the goddess of victory, who told people never to give in, but always keep going on. Johnny, she said, you will stay at that school, and each and every time one of your teachers or anybody else will tell you you are not able to do something, you will prove them wrong, and you will just do it. Another time, another place, the famous sports brand would use this metaphorical message as a publicity slogan. Granny never heard about an inclusive society, but she surely invited Johnny at that moment to start one up for himself. Mother was afraid. She said, but what will Johnny do when it gets dark? Granny looked at her and said, well, there's a simple solution to that. He only needs to get home before dark. Nowadays, we would call that NLP, because Granny's voice went along with Johnny for the rest of his life. Back at school, he was asked what he would like to learn. Well, he said, I have a Latin disease, and I've got a message from a Greek goddess. I would like to study Latin and Greek, please. That was of no use to blind frogs, he was told. But Johnny just did it. And at the end of secondary school, he was asked, what would you like to have as a career, my boy? And remembering his times at the hospital, he said he would love to become a physical therapist. A physical therapist? How in heaven would you be a physical therapist when you are not able to see bones and muscles and nerves and blood vessels? But Johnny just did it. Going into private practice, of course, was totally out of the question, which was why Jimmy just did it. There he was, helping all kinds of people with all different kinds of problems and physical difficulties and limitations, and he discovered that, strangely enough, each and every physical problem, in one way or the other, was related to an emotional one, a mental one. And there's nothing new there too. You know, ancient Greeks already discovered the relation between the healthy body and the healthy mind, something we call nowadays psychosomatics. And Johnny read a book, The Magic Mountain, by Thomas Mann, and he learned that in order to be healthy, people needed two things in life: love and humor. And this helped him to take the decision to step away from the principle of professional distance between a patient and a client, and to work from within a more personal implication with his clients. And he introduced even more humor in his work than he did before. He seemed like a clinic clown. There's even a rumor that one day, at Cardiff in Wales, in Great Britain, he was seen on a very serious conference wearing a red nose. Would you believe it? But, however, having useful conversations about people's dreams and hopes for their preferred future became an essential part of his work, and he discovered the power of language as an extremely important tool to help people change their perception of reality. Remember the black ball? And by changing their perception of reality, enhancing their possibilities of handling that reality. That was, of course, the definition one could give of psychotherapy. And you know the song, it was impossible, it can't be done, it's out of the question. That's why Johnny did it. He got a formation as a psychotherapist. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes, indeed, another frog on its way. Problems, you see, are the pregnant mothers of solutions. All we need to do is not to concentrate for too much or for too long on how we got pregnant, or why we are pregnant, or who is responsible for the pregnancy. But we need to look forward to the birth of the solution and what it will bring about in our near future. You see, school bags are not obstacles. They are merely road indicators. Thank God for problems. How else would we know about solutions? How else would we know our way towards our preferred future? Yes, I hear you say, this is all very nice, but how do you do that? Where does the poetry come in? How did Johnny keep his focus while he was losing his sight? Well, a colleague from Dallas in Texas, USA, gave me a technical explanation. He said, look, Danny, 40% of the cortex of the human brain is directly or indirectly related to its visual capacities. People who are blind don't need that 40% for that matter. They can use it for something else. So that is where the poetry is hidden. It's a bit like, it's a game you win by losing. Sounds like a diet. Can I please put you for a few moments on a diet? I would like to tap into your 40% right now, because I know it's there. Can I please all invite you to close your eyes? I promise I won't ask for any applause. On the contrary, I will ask for some silence and some concentration. Now, without punching each other, take the hands of the people sitting next to you and concentrate on the feeling of their skin. There should be two different hands. If they are identical, you're in some trouble. Now concentrate without bumping your heads. Try to get the smell of the perfume or the aftershave of the people sitting next to you. Don't bump each other. Do it gently. Concentrate. Now, yes, do it good. And now concentrate on the respiration. Their respiration and yours. This is getting quite romantic, isn't it? So we won't get any further at this moment. You may open up your eyes again. And can I have the last slide, please? Good people, you just invited your 40% to do some things it wasn't doing before. And by doing this, admit it, created a small poetic moment, isn't it? As a way of a friendly challenge, I would like to invite you to continue doing so for the rest of your flight. Don't worry, life will get you pregnant on many occasions, with lots of problems and limitations and difficulties. Please pretend to be blind today and concentrate on that 40% and create some poetry. Get out of the flock of the seagulls and start flying like a hawk. And don't be afraid to break a leg now and then. Just do it. And I'm sure, just like Johnny, you will fly home before dark. Thank you very much.